Mark Dunning, first week of the season against York on Monday evening. You've had time to review and reflect. What's your thoughts on that performance?
Yeah, pretty similar, Mick, from what we spoke about on Monday night, really. The amount of errors that we made in our yardage cost us dearly, and we give ourselves too much to do in the end, and ultimately York capitalised on the back of them errors and put us under the pump. So we know we're going to be better than that this week.
Those areas of concern, the errors, giving away the penalties in possession, is that something that you've worked hard on in training this week?
Yeah, we had a full debrief on Tuesday night, so the players didn't go out on the field because they were all particularly sore. So we did a full-on recovery session and then an extended video session on the game on Monday, and we told each other some home truths and pointed some things out, and everybody took it on the chin. And I think the vast majority of the players would have gone out and played on Wednesday to try and put it right if they could have done it. It was something that was deeply hurting them as a group and us as a group. But yeah, we have to wait until Sunday. As
a head coach, accountability is a big word. Have you had that accountability from the players?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And we also speak about actions and consequences as well, and everybody understands that certain actions and led to consequences. So the boys have they put their hand up. There's nobody shaking responsibility, and we've put it to bed on Tuesday. And I was really adamant that when they walked out this door on Tuesday evening that it was put to bed and the focus was positive and leading into Widnes.
Back at home, Odsal had a good win against Whitehaven in round one. Is the message this week about perhaps bounce back ability and putting the wrongs of Monday right?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got we've lost a game of rugby league. It was disappointing for everybody concerned, and we certainly didn't set out to lose that game of rugby league. But the good thing about sport is you get another opportunity the week after, and we're back at home at Odsal, where we started with a solid foundation against Whitehaven, and we're looking to build on that this week and really put our best foot forward.
I know you don't look on social media too much, or not at all, after obviously what happened last year, but obviously a club like Bradford has a larger than average fan base, and obviously with that comes pressure. Sometimes do you think that there is perhaps overreactions in the heat of a moment when something like Monday happens?
Passion. How do you curb passion? How do you curb feelings? And I'm a big believer, and there's a saying that's going around, and I use it a lot actually in my personal life and at work, and you can't stop a man or a woman thinking what they want to think. All you can do is prove by your actions that things are different to their thoughts. So I understand it comes with the territory, but yeah, it's not my concern. My concern is the boys that sat in this room on Tuesday, their attitude, their accountability personally and collectively, and their endeavour to put it right at the weekend, and that's what we're rolling with, and I'm looking forward to it.
What's the team news, Mark? I know it's Thursday when we're doing this, but is there any interesting team news you can tell us?
No, we've got obviously Jack will still be missing. Evan Skerr still missing with his suspension. Jack Johnson will miss this weekend. He's unable to play. It was part of the agreement when the board at Widnes released him, that if he signed for another championship club he couldn't play against them. So Josh Johnson will miss this week, and other than that we're somewhere near where we were.
Would Josh Johnson have been able to play? I know you said he was ill ahead of Monday's game against York, but would he be okay otherwise this week?
Yeah, he's getting there. He's had a real heavy cold stroke flu, and I'm not going to mention the C word of yesteryear, but if it was a year or so ago, he'd probably be in a 12-day isolation. So it didn't have COVID, but it was the symptoms and the ill feeling of it. So he's just managing to shake that off. He's coming through the other side. Unfortunately, the agreement with the Widnes has got to be adhered to, and he'll miss this week on that, but he'll come back into contention against Toulouse and be fired and ready to go.
Kevin Appo, I think you mentioned Monday, probably just a little bit too soon. How's he going in training now? I think he's been here just under a fortnight. Is he in contention?
Yeah, he's been here just about a week and a half. He's infectious. His personality is infectious. His mannerisms, he's the nicest man in the world, but he's got the ability to bend you in half if you're a rugby player running the ball at him as well. So he's going great. he's had another couple of good sessions under his belt since we last spoke. And yeah, been the melting pot for the selection at the weekend.
How do you think he's bedding in? I saw him at Huddersfield Dewsbury on Sunday, and it just seems to be soaking everything up and loving every minute of this journey for him.
Yeah, he is, and he's going really well. He's settling in really well, but he'll be even better once his family come. So his family are a couple of weeks away from coming, and he's got a 6-month-old baby as well. So I know he's missing his family, but yeah, what we're trying to do here is welcome him into this family, and the players have been magnificent with him, as of the staff and the staff up at Odsal as well. And we're trying to take him out and make sure he's not just sat in the house, twiddling his thumbs. So I think he got to a couple of games over the weekend with some of the boys, and he's starting to really bed in now.
Massey Matongo, of course, you said was training with the club with the eye for a contract. He featured in the game against Workington. What's the latest on Massey?
Yeah, delighted to say that we've managed to come to an agreement with Massey and his agent. So Massey's signed a contract with us, and again he'll go into the melting pot at the weekend. So really chuffed with that. He had some real quality, and again it's been a due diligence that we've had to do, and we've had to be really creative with this deal as well. Massey was out on the periphery due to an injury. He found himself with no club in pre-season, and we've welcomed him in, and we've given him some treatment, and we've given him some love as well, and on the back of that he's decided that this is where he wants to be. So really happy with that. He'll add more strength in depth to our middle unit, and again he'll push for a place, and he'll push standards as well.
Is he in contention for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm not ruling him out for this weekend. Yeah, he's as I said, he's a quality player. I think it was 5 years ago he was playing for England Knights, and playing in Super League. So you don't become a bad player over a short period of time. He's had some problems due to this injury that he's had, but he's looking well, he's training well, and he's really determined to turn the corner. So fingers crossed. He's got a contract that suits him if he's on the field. Read between the lines as you will. He gets more money if he's on the field. So I think that's the best for everyone. And Massey's been absolutely brilliant since he walked in the door. And we're looking forward to working with him for the rest of the year. So
there's a potential for maybe Kevin Appo and Massey to feature against Widnes, 2 new faces, 2 fresh faces.
Potentially, yeah. I'm not ruling anything out. They're all in the pot for selection. Obviously it's Thursday afternoon. I've got about 24-25 names that's in that pot for selection, and we'll train tonight and whittle that down and name the squad tomorrow. Is it the same as last week, Mark? No phone call with Rowan, potentially looking at what Leeds could have available? I've exchanged messages with Rowan. It was the same response round Joe Reg, but more just wishing them and the Leeds club all the best for the opener tonight and for the rest of the season. So Leeds are in the same predicament there was with their injuries. So there'll be nobody joining us from Leeds this week. Widnes at Odsal on Sunday, 2 from 2, 2 narrow wins against York and Keighley. What do you make of Widnes in 23? They're a good side. They are a good side. They've got a particularly strong spine. Jack Owens at fullback and Danny Craven's just come back from injury. I know they lost Gilmore through a pec injury, but it's a great replacement to have is Danny Gilmore. And they've Joe Lyons on the other half, and then Mary Fozzard in at 9. So they've a really strong spine. They've a big forward pack, which like to go pretty direct. They're a good side. We've watched them in the last 3 games they've played. Actually, they've played these 2 rounds, and then I've had a look at their pre-season trial against St Helens as well. So we know what we need to know about them, and we're looking forward to welcoming them to Odsal. It's still the focus amongst the playing group. We want to make Odsal a fortress. We're currently 1 from 1 at home. Widnes are coming here. We want to win their unbeaten record and make it 2 from 2. Yeah, mate. All them things. We're playing at home in front of our fans, and it means something to us. So we of course want to put on a show. At home, we've got to sort out the errors that we had at York first. That's what we need to look at. We need to really examine ourselves, which we have done. And we need to make sure that individually and collectively that we eradicate them errors, because 3 of them errors York scored on the next set on the back of them. That's 18 points. If you take that away from the final scoreline, then the result's different, and everybody's thoughts are different as well. So we're aware of what's coming, but we're aware of our own deficiencies that we've got to look at as well.
When you mention those deficiencies, Mark, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but have you spoken to about giving away penalties in possession and what appeared to be a glut of penalties to York in that second half?
Yeah, I have, and there's only one that I was annoyed with. You know, there was two for accidental offside, and when a ball ricochets off somebody a metre away, it's really tough, you know, not to be able to do that. There was one, you know, for obstruction, which I didn't think were obstruction. You know, I think he turned to chase the ball, and it is what it is. It's a one man and one person, and it's their perception of what they've seen. So you know, no discredit to anybody. You know, not blaming anybody. It's opinions. So yeah, the one that really, you know, upset us, and that's been dealt with.